What is up, y'all? What is up? How we doing today, Sleazy?
We're doing great. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, you know I'm doing good. You know I am.
You ready for today's topic?
I am. I'm excited. I get to kind of chill out and learn something new today.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Uh, so, Val, wait, what are we going over today?
Lake Titicaca.
uh,
It's just fun to say, you guys. It's just
it
fun
is.
to say.
It really is. Uh,
Ah.
this should be interesting. There's a lot of background to it, and then it goes off the rails real quick. So
I've got very limited information. Sleazy wanted me to not look this up too much so that he could blow my mind. So I obliged, and I know very little about Lake Titicaca.
we're going into the same as I did last week or 2 weeks ago now.
Two
Damn it.
weeks ago. Yeah, we missed last week. Sorry, y'all. Baby goats. Baby goats.
But you got 5 baby goats out of that one?
Well, out of three mamas.
3?
Yeah. Two of them I knew were about to pop. The other one had a single, and I did not realize she was as close as she was. So that one caught me off guard. The nursery's over there going from a nursery to a Thunderdome quick.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah. Getting a little crowded. Getting a little crowded.
So StreamYard's decided to be evil today.
Oh.
I won't be able to pull up comments, so we'll just have to read them out of the chat.
Oh. Why's that?
I tried to connect it, and it started creating new streams, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, we can at least go live." Comments will be a little borked today, but
that works. I usually read them off the YouTube page anyway. I like my orange. I like when somebody's talking to me.
yeah.
The comments on StreamYard, for those that don't know, it doesn't, you can't like identify anybody. Like it doesn't, that's a weird way to say that. You can't like tag people in it in the comments in StreamYard. So it's just easier on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah. I can disagree with that. But guys,
just let it ride.
Make sure you are following us on Rumble, so we
Please.
can stream to Rumble as well.
Please, we need a few more followers on Rumble so we can live stream there as well as here.
And I'm about to drop that in the chat for everyone.
I did drop it up just a little while ago, but yeah.
Never hurts to do it again.
Never does. Never ever does. Simping over a lake, wolves.
Very nice lake.
It's a pretty nice lake, y'all. Wait till you see it.
All right, so let's see who else in chat. We got Wild Red coming in first.
Wild Red, how are you, buddy? How are you?
We got X Comer, of course.
What's up, bro?
How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you stepped away from your AI girlfriend. We love it. Thank you for visiting us.
It needed to die, X-Comer. It needed to die.
Got a new viewer in the chat. Balder a la Richard.
Balder a la Richard.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I dig it.
Let's see. Belandris is here.
He's a giant, man. He's a giant.
And so then big. D what?
What up, D what? How are you? Glad y'all can join us for this one. It's gonna be good.
Should be good.
Some weird stuff going on. From what I gather, anyway. StreamYards is it's just easy. It's really simplistic.
It is convenient.
Yeah, it works really well most of the time. At least for what we need it for, anyway.
Oh yeah, does not do bad at all.
Jessica Reloaded's here. Hello, boys.
What's up, Jess?
How you doing, lovely? She's so damn pretty.
She's not even on stream to turn off the camera.
Right. They got her on Legal Vices last night pretty quick. I was trying to get on that stream so hard. It wasn't happening.
You're just not pretty enough for Jen.
I guess not. I was emailing him and everything. Come on, man. Send me a link. That's all right. Jeff's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah, Jeff's awesome.
He's a bro.
All right. You ready to get into this?
Absolutely. Been looking forward to it for 2 weeks, man.
I've made you wait.
I made you wait. So we're even, I guess.
All right. Let's do this. So I'm gonna read from the wiki just so you get some baseline stats on what this actually is and where it sits and how it all works.
Cool.
All right. So Lake Titicaca is a large freshwater lake in the Andes Mountains on the border of Bolivia and Peru. It's often called the highest navigable lake in the world by volume of water and by surface area. It is also the largest lake in South America.
Wait, it's a freshwater lake?
Yes.
I thought it was a saltwater lake.
I see the gears turning, which is why I kept telling you to wait.
Interesting.
Yes. All right. So its surface elevation is 12,500 feet, so almost 13,000 feet up. So it's not. It's a long ways up. It's a hike.
Yeah, that's a pretty big hike.
All right. The highest lake claim is generally considered to refer to commercial craft, numerous smaller bodies of water that are not considered lakes around the world are at higher elevations, ponds, stupid stuff like that. So, for many years, the largest vessel floating in the lake was 2,200 tons. Don't care about the rest of that too much right now. All right, so other cultures lived on Lake Titicaca prior to the arrival of the Incas. In 2000, a team of international archaeologists and divers found the ruins of an underwater temple thought to be between 1,000 and 1,500 years old.
So there's a temple at the bottom of the lake?
There are ruins all over the bottom of the lake.
Okay.
Temples, walls, all sorts of stuff. So
okay,
we'll get to that in a few minutes. The ruins are measured to be 200 by 50 meters, so 600 by 100 feet. Yeah, about that. Temple is accompanied by a village, not quite correct. Some roads, terraces for farming, and retaining wall that ran for 800 meters. So a lot of stuff right around the basin of the lake and everything like that. The lake consists of nearly two separate subbasins connected by the Strait of Tijuana, which is 800 meters across at the narrowest point. So definitely not a small lake.
No, pretty big. Pretty big.
5 major river systems feed in Lake Titicaca in order of the relative flow volumes. These are the Ramis, the Coata, the Lave, Honcain, and Suchez. There are 20 other smaller streams that empty into the lake. The lake has 41 islands, some of which are densely populated.
Okay.
That's going to get interesting in a second. Let's see. So now that we know how everything's feeding in there, we can go to the ecology. Lake Titicaca is home to more than 530 aquatic species. The lake holds large populations of water birds and is designated as a Ramsar site on August 26, 1998. Several threatened species such as huge Titicaca water frogs, giggity.
Giggity. Return of the Frogs Day.
Flightless grebes, And there's a couple other things here. There has been some invasive species that were introduced.
Okay.
There were actually more species. It's really hard to find, but there have been a couple naturalist visits that swore they found freshwater seahorses. And there's some back and forth on that.
So they don't 100% know that there's seahorses in it?
Not anymore, because with the invasive species, a lot of stuff has gone extinct in the lake.
Okay. Is there any other species of known seahorses that are freshwater?
None that I could really find.
As an aquarium guy, none to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing, which is why I thought the lake was a saltwater lake.
They do speculate that it was saltwater, and that over thousands of years, as the mountain range pushed up, with all the other lakes, evaporation, everything else that happened, it turned into a freshwater lake.
Well, and that would kind of make sense if it's so it's evaporation won't evaporate salt. So the more fresh water that evaporates, the saltier the lake would get. But if this lake is fed with a bunch of rivers, it could push the salt water out over time and reduce the salt levels in the water.
Potentially. But everything feeds into this lake. It doesn't feed out anywhere.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. And let's see. Let me get back into here.
Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
What's up, Barbara? How you doing? All right. So the Lake Titicaca drilling project recovered a 136-meter-long drill core of sediments from the bottom of the lake. Titicaca at a depth of 235 meters in a location that's east of Isla del Sol. The core contained continuous record of lake sediment and paleo-environmental conditions for Lake Titicaca back to about 370,000 BP. Terrible with acronyms.
I'm not sure what BP is either. It used to be BC, right?
Yeah, don't get me started. For this period of time, Lake Titicaca was typically fresher and had higher lake levels during the periods of expanded regional glaciation that corresponded to the global glacier periods. So now we're talking about a lake that might not have ever been saltwater and been fed by glaciers. See how weird this starts getting?
Getting a little weird.
And if it's a glacial lake, how is there any life in it?
Well, there would
somebody
be
hauling up.
There is ways in which marine animals get transported to remote lakes. Like, I know birds are responsible for a lot of it. They'll catch a fish, swim off, go to eat it, drop it mid-flight. They'll sometimes I think fish eggs and stuff can actually pass through the birds. I think that might be a thing. But there is ways of that happening.
I don't disagree. But let me keep going here for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Where are we? Leucostrine sediments and associated terraces provide evidence that the past existence of 5 major prehistoric lakes that occupied the Tinawani Basin during the Pliocene and Pleistocene within northern Altiplano. Can you tell how white I am? All right, so skip that because that's not what I was looking for. Here we go. Now we're getting to the islands. The floating islands are small man-made islands constructed by the Uros people from the layers of cut totora and thick, buoyant sedge that grows abundantly in the shallow lakes of Lake Titicaca. All these islands are man-made, essentially out of reed.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second so I can pull up a quick video.
How big are we talking here, these islands?
Oh, you're about to see. So I'm gonna.
That seems like something more fitting of like Indo-Pacific region than South America.
Yes. All right. Let me. We're gonna have to EFAP this because I don't want to get copyright strike already.
And welcome to Lake Titicaca. We are presently at Puno on the northern end of the lake in Peru.
So they're going to be on the northern end of the lake, which puts it up around here, I think. No, here, right here. All right, so let's keep going.
And we're about to get on a boat for a ride to what are called the Uros floating islands. Now, the Uros are a people quite different
from the
Quechua and Aymara people.
Catch up with some of the stuff I said.
Now. The Quechua go back possibly 2,000 years, as do the Aymara. But the Uro, whose actual origins are unknown, have been living on these floating islands for at least 3,000 years.
So
that's interesting.
3,000 years. These people just keep building up these islands and making them habitable. So here in a second,
their origin is unknown.
See them come into view.
But some stories say that they came from the Amazon jungle area, though that is unknown. Supposedly, their blood type is quite different than most human beings, and so their origins are quite intriguing. Now, what you see are totora reeds on the left and right-hand side. Totora is native to Lake Titicaca, as well as the coast of Peru, and also Easter Island, quite curiously. The burning...
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
So it's lake specific, the coast, and Easter Island. And I don't know if you caught that, but they have a very specific gene type in their DNA.
Yeah. That's bizarre.
See in the background is actually a massive totora fire that was probably set accidentally. Now, these islands are quite easy to get to from Puno. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get there.
Yep.
And right now...
He's about to say something that is pretty much to sum up how much tourism has fucked up this area.
Now we're coming up to an actual checkpoint where a toll is paid in order to visit these fascinating islands. The islands are indeed floating. They're made out of totora reed, which is cut from a distant area, and the large chunks are floated by boat. There you see a double-hull totora floating boat.
So I think you can see how big those are, Val, right?
Wow.
You can see all the...
And it's all made out of reeds.
Yep.
Reeds that would deteriorate over time and have to be replaced constantly.
Yep.
And they have housing structures on them, or are they boats with roofs?
You'll see in a second.
Could carry a sail.
We're not going to watch this video all the way through, but I just wanted you to see what these...
And now we're approaching one of the 80-something floating islands. And we're going to get off and walk around. Each one of these floating islands is an extended family. In the case of this one, 6 families live on the island. And because they live on a floating island, they pay no tax.
Based.
Can't tax me for land rights if I live on water.
But I mean, you can see the houses. They're not. I mean, they're not great in terms of houses, but they're definitely stable structures. They're not going anywhere.
And they have reeds growing in the reeds.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Quite a few of them have day jobs in the city of Puno or elsewhere, but they're trying quite hard through tourism to be able to protect their culture. So here we are. It's a little bit spongy when you walk around on the island, but I think they average about a meter thick or more, and they simply keep adding more of the totora reed onto the top in order to build it up, because
So they
That is-
literally go and harvest more reed and lay it down. And I guess when they started, they would have to weave them together in some way to keep them together.
Probably at first, yeah.
But now you're talking,
Thousands of years later.
he's talking 3 meters. Those things are 10 foot thick.
Did you say 3 meters or a meter?
I thought he said 3. I could be wrong.
they
I'll
do
double check
start
in a
to
second.
sink, and each floating island lasts an average of 20 to 25 years. Of course, a few years before the island actually does sink, they do start making another island.
Oh,
So here you see almost everything is made out of the totora reed, including the houses. We saw an umbrella back there, and each one of these little buildings is for a specific use. One would be a bathroom, another would be a kitchen, another would be sleeping quarters. There you see a map of Lake Titicaca. And this is an explanation by a tour guide as to what.
so they actually do sink and they start over.
And they've been doing this for thousands of years.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
I mean, and they say they keep it family and extended family. That's
Probably
that's a
why
lot of people.
Well, that's probably why their genotype is a little different than everybody else's.
Could be. But yeah,
Wow.
no, it's these floating islands are a little crazy.
That thing's wild. What a interesting way to adapt. That you'd
Yeah.
think that has to be like a defensive maneuver, right?
Maybe. And we're getting a little bit far ahead of the stream here, but maybe.
My bad.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. They keep building islands.
And they only last for like 25 years and then they just sink and they rebuild a new island?
I assume they eventually get so thick, they get so waterlogged, they eventually just sink.
That would make sense. That would make
If you're
sense.
you got the decay coming through from the bottom up. You just keep laying new stuff on top. Plus, you've got houses. Then you've got your bathrooms. You're cooking. I assume it's not a very sanitary place.
Well, I don't know though. All your waste you could just put in the water. Like you wouldn't have any.
Yeah, the same water you're cooking with and bathing.
Well,
with.
that's not great. But that lake's huge though. That
It is,
lake's
it is.
absolutely ginormous.
Yeah.
Ginormous.
All right. So let's see here.
How do they keep the 80 islands from like running into each other? I'm so intrigued by this. If I had half an ounce of willingness to travel, I'd go check this place out personally.
So I was really trying to figure that out my damn self, which he said was in this area. So I assume there's not too much of a current. And with enough weight and surface tension, with the size of the boats or the floating islands, I would assume they don't move that much. Right? I mean, you got a little bit of an inlet. You got everything chilling out here. It's not like an ocean, right? It's not a small
Right.
boat. It's something really heavy. I mean, you think of just leaving a barge somewhere on a lake in the middle of a mountain that has no real flowing current. Like it's not gonna want to run around.
Hmm.
Let's.
I would think that the wind would push them to the shores. I would think.
Or out. I mean, it's
It's a
like with
unique
as
way to
heavy
live.
as these things have to be, how much wind it would take to actually move them. But let's see what chat's ranting about.
X-Comer.
X-Comer's a mess.
I love it.
Well, he asked why it would be saltwater. Allegedly, this lake was formed when the mountain ranges were. Allegedly. And then glaciers built up during the Ice Age and melted and slowly deposited water everywhere. So in theory, it should be some salt water.
Well, the seahorses is what threw me.
Yeah.
When you told me about the seahorse thing, I was like, wait, so it's a saltwater lake. That was why I thought it was saltwater. My bad. I made a link in my head that I apparently should not have.
So I told you, just wait for the show. I got you. All right. Surveys from, I'm just going to call him Richard because I'm white as shit. Surveys don't really catch everything either. More than 530 aquatic species are native to Lake Titicaca. I don't see a survey listing pipefish or horsefish, but I just looked and I'm lazy. Yeah, it also depends on when the survey was done as well. Like I kind of touched on with bringing in new fish species. Words are hard today.
Invasive species.
Of fish. Some of them are predatory. There have been stuff that has gone extinct in that lake.
Well, that's how it works with fish, man. If you fit in my mouth, I'm going to eat you.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Let's see here.
Seahorses also, by the way, are they very easily get out competed for food because they're so slow moving and they have to have really calm waters. Otherwise they get blown all over the place. So a lot of problem with keeping aquarium seahorses is that other fish in the tank will eat all their food and they'll just starve to death. So a bigger population of more aggressive fish that eat the same food would very easily wipe out seahorses as well.
Yeah. And they're not the most resilient species.
No, they're so delicate.
Anything.
They're so delicate.
Let's see. X-Comer coming in with the Lake Titicaca.
Yep.
Blandris wants to know their blood type. Why don't you take a trip down there and find out for us?
I don't know if the island would hold him. He might go right through it.
He doesn't even need to take a boat.
Right.
Barbara says, I give them credit. That's smart.
It's a really unique way to do it.
Yeah. So X-Comer, so open fire is not too popular here. I would assume not. Hey, you go start a fire on our thatch island.
I mean, they got to cook though.
Yeah, with the huts, I assume they make some type of mud, and then with modernization, I assume they have some sort of wood burning stove or some sort of insulation on stuff.
It's interesting. Floating around on a bunch of dry reeds, though, probably not the best spot for a fire.
Not at all. Let's see. I don't know if Nando's Man Bun is making a joke or if I should actually read that one. But he's asking about their blood.
I think she meant the actual color of the blood.
Look, we've all seen chat before. Richard, mold and fungus control sounds like a nightmare.
algae more than anything.
Yeah, probably not the most sanitary.
Well, you're in like direct sunlight all the time, though. It's not like you're ever in shade, so it'd probably hinder mold to a certain extent.
Yeah, but everything under it.
Yeah, that part. But you can't grow mold underwater.
True.
I bet algae would be the bigger issue there. Algae grows on it, makes it heavy, sinks it.
Yeah. Probably would need to source satellite images. What was that for? Don't know. Their new videos said they have unique blood. I'm also curious. Yeah, they're. It's hard to find anything on their blood. It's not something that I could easily find with any certainty. Let's see.
We need a doctor of phlebotomy.
Right. DeWitt says Vikings were there. Val, have you been there?
I've never been there.
You sure? Let's see.
I wonder if the Vikings, I don't think the Vikings ever made it down that far into South America at all.
Let's be honest, we don't actually know where they made it.
This is true. We do know a couple places they made it.
And that's argued religiously against by, we'll just say, mainstream science and archaeologists.
Yeah.
Ex-Comer asked, trout in the lake. I do believe that was one of the invasive species that was brought.
As a food source, probably?
Yeah. I mean, you know how that goes. Hey, we got this better fish. Yeah, just drop it in the water. 10 years later.
Well, that was a mistake.
Right. All right. Gonna hop back into this in just a second.
Their legends claim they had black blood at one point. That's crazy. It does get pretty cold down there. I know that. That's a region that gets very cold.
Yeah, and especially when you're up that high, like it's not a warm place.
And I would imagine on the water too. There's nothing that's really breaking the wind. So I imagine the wind rolling across the lake gets pretty cold.
Yeah, but water also helps stabilize temperatures. So
like lake effect.
Yeah. Let's see, what was I looking for? So we're going to touch on the ruins right now.
Underwater temple of Lake Titicaca.
All right. So since the 1950s, there were rumors of a lost city in the depths of Lake Titicaca. In the year 2000, International Archaeological Team proved the legends to be true. A temple was discovered beneath the surface of the lake just offshore of Copacabana in Bolivia. Along with the temple, there appears to be remains of an underwater city. The buildings are estimated to be between 1,000 and 1,500 years old. So we're putting that back 0 to 500 is realistically where it was, time frame wise, right? Because there has to be people there before to start building this city. So at a minimum.
That would lead me to believe that the lake was empty.
You would think.
They said that this thing's like 250 meters deep. That's where they pulled that core sample out that you talked about in the beginning. They said it was something like 250 meters down.
Yes.
Okay. You're not swimming down there to build a underwater temple. No. Free diving, you're not doing that.
I think the core was 200 or 300 meters. I'm not sure the lake depth. I have to pull that back up in a second. Exploration teams found agricultural terraces and 800 meters, about half a mile of a stone wall. There is also 30 meters of a well-preserved paved road. This is very similar to parts of the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Divers visited the site around 200 times to properly record the layout of the ruins. More than 10,000 artifacts have been recovered from this temple, including ornaments, cooking utensils. Most are made of gold, stone, and ceramics. human and animal remains have also been uncovered in this city of Lake Titicaca.
What kind of? Well, I wish I had more information on that.
It's extremely hard to find. I couldn't even find any actual pictures of what they found. Right, because it's all mixed in with other stuff. You can't tell if you're Googling the right stuff or if it's something they found in another lake in the region,
Right.
or if it's from Mayan or Incan temple. Like it's hard to find what they actually found. So I'm gonna rewind it here for a second. We're gonna talk about the sea life that's there versus how old these ruins are for a second. They have tons of sea life. We'll say allegedly because there's not a ton other than people saying they found them. Freshwater seahorses, a lake that was pushed up millions of years ago, that had glaciers on it, and somehow there's a city under the water.
That doesn't make any sense.
We're gonna kind of visit back to last week's episode when they're redoing the entire human timeline.
Yeah. None of that makes any sense.
Yeah. Let's see.
If they're dating those, I wonder how they're dating the ruins, because they said 1,000 to 1,500 years ago.
Yeah.
That had to have been a dry lake bed at the time. It had to have been.
But the glaciers were melting into it. I can see the confusion and trying to work it out in your head. It's
It
great.
doesn't make any sense.
Can you visit the Lake Titicaca underwater temple? Currently, you cannot dive or snorkel in Lake Titicaca to see the sunken city. However, the Bolivian government has plans to build an underwater museum. Once complete, this will showcase the relics found at the bottom of Lake Titicaca. The museum will also protect the Lake Titicaca underwater temple. Let's see. It costs $10 million. All right. So that's it for the sunken temple. It's a lot more here.
I wonder if they built the temple on a raft and then the raft sank.
I mean, it would have to sink at the exact same time. Otherwise, there would just be a pile of rocks at the bottom of the lake.
Well, it just slowly sank over time, real steady. Like makes more sense than freshwater seahorses.
You're grasping at reeds here, man.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Right. So I want to touch base before getting to the other ruins with chat here. All right, so let's see. Ex-Comer looks like he went to back to his ex-girlfriend. ChatGPT, he's posting stuff. Let's see what he's got. The lost city of the sun. The Incas believe that a great city called the City of the Sun was located at the bottom of the lake, which is said to hold immense wealth and knowledge. They did say they found a bunch of gold stuff, but everybody's always had a love of gold.
Well, that was one of the things with South America, right? Is there was always the cities of gold, and the amount of gold they had was unreal, and
yeah,
brought Europe over there in a huff.
The Spanish ran over here pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Let's see. The origin of the Incas, according to local legend, the first Inca king, Manco Capac, and his sister wife, Mama Aclo, rose from the water. All right, so Ex-Comer's got some lore for us. That's cool. Let's see. Blandra's talking about the Louisiana of South America. It's great. Let's see.
Louisiana.
Dewitt says, look into the language, Runic and Phoenician. I'm gonna need to check on that because
there's I know that there's a theory or model of of human movement across the planet, and there's a lot of reasons to believe that people from the Indo-Pacific region, Australia region, sailed to South America, in addition to people from Asia taking the land bridge.
Yeah, I don't have doubts about that at all.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty likely.
Just looking at all the island chains that were inhabited.
How did Hawaiians
no
get to
doubt.
Hawaii? Hawaii is in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing even close to Hawaii.
No.
That's a brave soul that makes that first trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or gets lucky. Gets lost and then gets lucky with a bunch of people.
Hi, Linda. Welcome.
I'm going to have to look into that because if there's some ties to the Phoenicians, I definitely would love to touch on that. Okay. Yeah. Excalibur says it was 286 meters for the max depth.
That's a deep lake.
Deep.
That's a deep lake.
And like, I know it's a large lake, but like 1,000 feet, you got to figure the rest of this comes up. That's a steep drop off.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So if
Is there any kind of volcanic activity associated with this lake?
Not that I saw. It doesn't mean there wasn't any in history, because this one always piqued my interest because of how it looks. But nothing I could find documented of any sort of recent volcanic activity. And don't forget, this entire mountain range is formed from the great conveyor belt of the ocean, just pushing sediment on top.
Well, I know that the Pacific Ring of Fire is basically the circle of volcanoes around the Pacific Ocean. So I wonder if there would be.
There probably was at some time. I really dug into the lake and not the geology for this one because the lake itself is insane.
Right.
But what's up, Linda? How you doing?
Cops out by your house, huh?
No, there's actually a EMT and fire station like
that's right.
quarter mile away.
I knew that. I knew that.
No, it's real quiet.
Yeah, I could tell.
Not
something I hear often by me.
Yeah. Keep in mind that common for tribes to send people adrift if they didn't fit in. If it's here, they land. I think you might be talking about the Pacific.
Well, yeah, trying to find how somebody got to Hawaii, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that theory about someone getting set adrift if they didn't fit in, because one person landing somewhere, he just kind of eventually fades away.
Well, I think people are people, right? So, like, you would have issues in a tribe at some point. Like, there'd be a split of groups or, explorers that had enough and just, all right, I'm taking a crew and we're leaving.
Yeah, my issue with that theory comes from how much inbreeding would be done and how large of a group you would need to sustain a population that doesn't end up like 1300s royal families.
I wonder how many people that would be. I know down in well, that's a different story for a different time.
Let's try and stay on topic.
Yeah. I was gonna go in the weeds, man. We were about to get into Polynesian culture real hard.
Oh, all right. Let's do
Mistress Meg. Hello, welcome. Appreciate you.
What's up, Meg? Let's touch on some other ruins here. The ruins near Puno. Most people allocate only enough time in Puno to see the floating islands of Uros. I too felt I'd seen enough ruins after Machu Picchu and Cusco. However, the Lake Titicaca ruins in Puno have a unique feeling to them. In fact, different people built them, giving them a fascinating history over the centuries. So these are some of those ruins. They're a little bit different from other ruins. There's a lot of ruins, and they all have distinct architectural features. Silistani ruins.
Those aren't made by the same people.
Yeah. These ruins are a pre-Incan burial ground. The towers are called chulpas, not chalupas. It is lunchtime, though.
Chalupas does sound fire, actually.
And were built by the Kola people and the ancestors of the Amara, who still inhabit the lake. The chulpas were reserved for nobility, priests, and other members of the elite. Entire families were laid to rest in cylindrical mausoleums. So we're going to go from this to this.
Those aren't made by the same people.
Yeah.
They're just not. That's two distinct building styles.
Yeah. On the Bolivian side of the lake, the ruins get even more different. There we go.
That looks like not that old Mexican architecture, to be honest.
Yeah, I also thought it was actually quite similar to. Oh, they're slipping my mind now. Not Mesopotamian, Mycenaean.
Okay.
I might have to do one on that because you didn't look like you were terribly familiar.
I'm not necessarily terribly familiar, no.
So yeah, it's a lot of different styles of ruins, and if we're going back to the science here, this was all done in 1,500 years. Just such different styles of architecture, including floating islands.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
As a floating island society, I can't imagine you would have a whole lot of use for stoneworking and masonry.
Right.
Something doesn't quite add up there.
Let's see here. All right. I'm going to skip some of this article because this is what I'm really interested in. The Chicana ruins, the labyrinth of stone. The ruins can be found on the island of Isle del Sol. For instance, in the northern tip of the island, one can find the Chicana ruins. The site, described as a labyrinth in stone, is said to have once been used as a holy complex for the Inca priest.
Isla del Sol, the
yeah.
Sauna Island?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Excalibur was talking about? Or you were talking about? Somebody was.
Let's see. On the southern side of the island, one can find the Inca steps, a stone staircase with 206 steps leading up to a sacred fountain on the hill. Here's an entirely different set of architecture.
That looks like the first wall, sort of. Like that could have been made by the very first ruin we looked at. The same people.
Right.
But that's...
I mean, you're starting to see why I was like, this lake is interesting as hell.
Yeah.
Because of everything. The underwater temple. This is some of the artifacts they found. So,
More
ceramic,
animal.
gold.
Animal figurines, mostly.
So, I keep looking at these ruins all the time, and I'm just like, it doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
So let's touch.
It seems like a change in culture of the people that were living there.
And a drastic one.
Yes.
Like reintroducing an entire new type of architecture and everything.
Which would typically happen if somebody takes over the people, so to speak.
All right, let's see.
I think that's probably why they ended up on the rafts. I think they were running from conquerors.
I mean, yeah, but that only lasts for so long, right?
25 years.
Well, not even that. Like, boats aren't necessarily hard to figure out. Like, it's especially if they're getting invaded, they're eventually going to leave boats.
It's not
Even
a
if
whole
you
lot
don't
of-
have boats, you'll figure it out.
Well, but it didn't look like there's a whole lot of trees in the area.
Well, they used to read the same way the Egyptians did. Most of
So-
them, at least, to be fair.
So if you're a conquering force, you're going to figure out how to build a reed raft big enough to haul you, your army, and their weapons over to this defensive position in the middle of the lake.
Do you really want to get into that?
I don't know.
Alexander the Great and Tyre.
Well, that's a little bit different. Alexander the Great was a special one.
Rome, in its entirety. Rome literally built.
I'm not saying it's
Real.
impossible. What I am saying is it seems slightly unlikely.
Mayans built temples out of skulls. Like, I don't see it as unreasonable. All right, you wanna touch up on chat on this one?
Sure. Where did we leave off?
Let's see. I think Mega just showed up. Let's see.
That was Linda. I have no idea where we left off. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there we go. Lee Maria. I don't know what that means. There's a moment even when the people didn't choose it. Yeah, Balder, I would agree with that. That just happens. You share stuff with your neighbors, and that makes sense.
Lemuria is suspected of being a lost continent, I think.
Oh, okay. That was the lost continent comment up there. Theory, I think, is what it was. There's a volcano there. I'm not sure where there is. Genghis Khan.
I love chat.
I'm not going to say that, but it's funny. Do what I do approve. Fire department in Milwaukee. Well, that's Blanders. Glad, good for you. Not so good for your neighbors. Locking mutations, but those mutations have to get there. This is way too weedy of a topic. Yeah, dude. Genetics is not something I'm super familiar with, believe it or not. Human genetics, anyway.
Look, words are hard enough for us. Okay?
I know a little bit about pigeon and goat genetics, but that's a different story. Pre-Incan says who? Well, even though the ruins themselves are only 1,000 years old, that's not pre-Incan.
Allegedly.
Blanders thinks it looks a little Middle Eastern. I could see that a little bit. Not sure why you would hate the Smithsonian. What? But all right.
I mean, Smithsonian's pretty terrible, even for all the good it does.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine they are visible by satellite very, very easily anyway. They're not that big. You'd have to really get in there.
I mean, they're big, but they're not that big.
Right. They're in bed with each other, so that explains it. Little government Smithsonian conspiracy going on in chat there.
I mean, it's more likely than not.
Well, I'm sure. They're very tiny. Those would be hard to check. There's a lot of them. Agreed. U.S. ships are far bigger than most of them. Probably, yeah. Like our warships, absolutely. Ex-Comer, I'd call that a win. Egypt is actually in the Americas. That's a new one.
I mean, Australia is in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm learning in the background, so I might be typing a bit too much. We'll tone it down a bit. You're good, Baller. Don't worry about it.
And guys, don't forget that We do have a Discord. It is open.
We do.
The only thing we ask is that you do play by the rules, because I don't want to get the Discord yeeted. But we do have a live chat section there, so if you see something I missed or Val missed, you can throw it in there. We'll take a look at it. More knowledge is always preferred.
Always. That's how we learn, y'all. That's how we learn.
All right.
That's interesting about the great knowledge part, though.
Yeah. So this one kind of touches on the ruins, but again, you see how wide that time frame is,
Right.
and how much it varies depending on who it is. So I'll read this real quick. Lake Titicaca was a sacred space for the ancient Andean Empire of the Inca, which at its height in the early 16th century was controlled territory. Words is already out.
Words are so hard.
God, they are. Controlled territory from modern-day Colombia to Chile. The Incan built more than 80 temples and other structures for a variety of rituals on the Isle del Sol, or Island of the Sun, in the southern part of the lake in Bolivia, where their origins myths said the sun god was born and their primordial ancestors emerged from the rock. And they lowered offerings into the surrounding waters as they set up fervent prayers. So little hit and miss there, because where did I do it at? No, that's the wrong one. I might have closed out the wrong tab, y'all.
Oh, no.
I'll find it again. Let's see. A new discovery published in the journal Antiquity offers fresh insights into the Inca belief system, which was likely tied not to only politics, prayers for fertility, and a goddess known as Mama Cocha, the sea mother, but also to the blood-filled offerings that clouded the waters of one of the world's largest lakes.
What was the goddess's name?
Mama Cocha.
Outstanding.
Look, I'm white as shit.
Love it.
I don't see you doing any better.
Whiter than you are.
During an underwater survey of the lake, which straddles Bolivia and Peru, an international team of archaeologists recovered an offering box made of andesite, a local volcanic stone that was laying on the reef some 18 feet below the surface of the lake, measuring about 14 by 10 by 6.5 inches. It had a concave offering cavity that was sealed by a round stone plug, undisturbed since the box was deposited from more than 5 centuries ago.
18 feet below? That's not bad.
No, not at all. Inside the box, they found a tiny rolled cylinder of gold sheeting and a figurine of a llama made from spondylus, the coral-hued shell of a spiny oyster that was rare and valuable. The cylinder, the archaeologists believe, may have been a miniature replica of a chipana, a type of bracelet that Inca noblemen wore on their right forearm. The llama represents the Inca's sturdy beast of burden. So that's what it looked like. So it looks small in the picture, but that's 10 by 18. That's pretty damn big.
That's 10 by 18, or the box was 10 by 18?
The box was 14 by 10. But if that's supposed to fit on somebody's arm, that's still going to be
Big.
like that. Let's see here. That's the stone. So this thing was more looking like a time capsule than anything. That's why I thought this article was a little weird. See the gears turning, Val.
Seems like a weird thing to just put in a lake.
Yeah.
Fastened to the llama.
So I'll read this one real quick. On another level, the archaeologists believe the cylinder of gold may have been fastened to the llama in a nod to the Inca having expanded their empire into the gold-rich region in the mid-1400s. The Inca believed in religious traditions that were never separate from political and economic ones, said Reinhardt, who was not part of the discovery team. They were all inextricably linked. So, I mean, if we're being honest, we don't know too much about their rituals.
No, not much.
So
They all died out pretty quickly.
yeah, I just thought that was an interesting find that the
It's a weird
20
one.
feet down on a lake.
If that was, I mean, if you were hiding your valuables or something, that'd be a good spot to hide them. But
Oh yeah, I mean, but getting it back's the problem.
well, sort of. You just have to lift up the cap.
20 feet down
That's not
in the exact
undoable.
spot.
That's not undoable though. People do like. I mean, if you're a fishing society, you know where your crab pots are. You know what I mean?
You also have markers.
There may have been a marker.
It was 3 feet to the left of the reed, right?
Exactly.
All right. Get a little bit here about some giant ruins.
Now, this is the place that we'll be looking at today. It's located about 5 kilometers inside Peru at Lake Titicaca, just over the border with Bolivia. And the name of it is Kanawani. And actually, in fact, the name of the village where it's located is Kanawani.
That's an arena.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Those are bleachers.
And they're
And a box in the middle for like the important people.
yeah, like a podium and an announcer and a scorekeeper.
Or like royalty. The mayor, whatever you want to call him.
This place.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not small.
No.
And it's carved directly into the side of that hill.
Yeah.
Specifically, I couldn't find out. I first saw photographs of it on the internet about 5 to 6 years ago, and it was only last year that I first visited. So this is actually our second exploration of this clearly megalithic site.
So yeah, stairs up, down. That kind of looks like a spiral staircase a couple seconds ago that walks around other stone. I mean, it's definitely built to last.
That's 100% like an arena or something. Like they gathered there and watched whatever was taking place on the flat ground in front of them.
What culture created it is unknown. Most people would say it's an Inca construction, but we don't find anything like it anywhere else, as far as I can tell, in the Inca world. And others would comment that it's a Tiwanaku culture creation. But again, nothing like this exists at Tiwanaku or Pumapunku.
Add one more level of architecture that doesn't fit anywhere else.
Yeah. Nobody else has carved directly into the bedrock like this. None of the other ruins that we've watched.
Now the material is volcanic. You can see that there's a volcano in the background. And the actual material is called volcanic tuff, which
It's really light.
Volcanic ash.
It'd be really easy to carve.
Likely millions of years ago. And it's a relatively soft material, as you can see from these steps that I'm walking up.
Very porous.
Erosion of the surfaces is
Yeah.
Very porous. They call it like feather rock in the aquarium world. Something stupid like that.
Might have to pick your brain one day about aquariums.
Absolutely. I love it. Anytime.
very easy to do, unfortunately. And the general concept is that this is or was some kind of stadium. And you have this very curious semicircle here, which some believe would be the actual podium of the stadium. But the question is, a stadium made by who? And why is there this interesting cut channel that is right in front of the semicircle? So
I don't know if you caught that. There's a groove in front of the semicircle, but there's also a race section.
For what? Like,
No.
I didn't quite catch it.
So you've got your back part there, right?
Right.
Then you've got that raised edge.
interesting cut channel that is right in front of the semicircle.
There's a channel cut in, and then it goes right back up to the standard height. It's literally just a channel cut into that podium altar looking thing.
Maybe there was a wood structure there at one point.
But why would you cut the channel out? You just cut notches for the wood. It's not hard stone either.
This is
Easy.
true. This is true. It would make way more sense to just dig a hole rather than a whole channel.
So a stadium for who? When was it made? Unknown. Who made it? Unknown. Obviously, a huge accomplishment by someone. Where the vertical and horizontal surfaces meet, there is an actual curve. So the groove, or the where the vertical and horizontal meet, is not a sharp right angle, but actually a slight curve. And we do see evidence of tool marks, almost like chisel marks. But the concept that this was done with hand tools is highly, highly unlikely.
I disagree with that. Soft stone, it's not like what we were talking about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it's really soft. It's very porous and lightweight stone.
Yeah. I have no issue with using even heavy sticks and little stones to break this thing apart.
The curved
Of
the curve that they're talking about between the lateral and horizontal, or horizontal and vertical, that would help in like draining water.
Yeah, that's. I
And
was
I see
thinking
this.
it would mean it have to, but that would be its only reason.
Right. The stairs look like they've got a drain route, but that could be natural.
Yeah.
sheer scale of it. Now, of course, it does look somewhat like a stadium. These steps are the right size, more or less, for a normal-sized human being to sit down. And where it looks at is towards Lake Titicaca. And now we're going back to the semicircular area. And it does have, unfortunately, it was too windy today to record it, but it does have astonishing sound characteristics. If you speak right at this point, especially if you're kneeling, then the sound of your voice is enhanced greatly. So quite amazing acoustic properties for a material that is not super dense.
Well, that's weird.
Just randomly came up with that idea. People with hand tools and stone chisels dealing with acoustics. Val, did you think I was kidding when I said this area is insane?
I believe you. I just didn't know.
Glad I could break your brain, Val.
Yeah, mission accomplished there, buddy.
But once again, please try to look up Kanawani on the internet, and you'll see very, very little information. Most of the information is simply about the little town located here, but almost nothing about the megalithic site itself and who made it.
So again, ancient structures. Nobody knows where they came from. Nobody cares to talk about them. Nobody cares to put them out there or ask any questions about them. I want to know.
That's bizarre.
Lots and lots of staircases located here. So that's why, of course, I'm on the ground giving you a view of what it's like to climb up. And we did spend at least 2 hours inspecting this place, and it's very, very odd. Again, you see the extensive weathering of the surfaces. And so climbing all the way to the top, again with the ancient volcano in the background. And then looking down and walking down back to the farmer's fields that you see. Once again, the size of the stairs.
So, just farmers been farming up this whole area for God knows how long. No idea what's actually under there.
They're quite evenly spaced, even in terms of size. Very ergonomic for someone like me who's about 6 feet tall to be able to climb up and down.
But that is an amazing view.
It is.
Just sitting in that stadium, watching whatever's happening, lakeside, mountains in the background.
And this shows you where the so-called stadium faces. It stares right at Lake Titicaca, and also basically the ancient location of Tiwanaku and Pumapunku is directly to the south of this strange megalithic complex.
That shit pisses me off.
Litter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know that's from tourists.
Oh, yeah.
And we did find this cave entrance. Not sure how far in it goes because the smell of the garbage that you can see was overwhelming, and people were also, of course, using it as a bathroom. And so now we've switched cameras, and this is my new little quadcopter called Horus, as in the...
Yeah, gives you a nice scale. Like, to me, it looks like they got some of it done, and then they gave up, right? Because that left side with the circular staircase that doesn't go to anything but goes back down, it looks like they were starting and just abandoned it in the middle. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I was thinking it was like a, for lack of a better term, like a player's entrance to the field.
Maybe.
The Egyptian Horus, the Eye of Horus, maybe should be a better name. And this will give you a much better perspective of the sense of scale and just enigmatic character of this very odd place that very few people visit. It's just off the main highway that connects Copacabana in Bolivia with Puno in Peru. So now the quadcopter is going to give us a much better look at this very odd, unique site located very, very close to Lake Titicaca in Peru.
Yeah, there's not much else on that video.
I want to know more about that cave entrance.
I mean, might need a hazmat suit, sounds like. But,
Yeah, maybe. People are the worst.
I mean, if it was a stadium or even a theater, like with the way the acoustics work.
But that's just for that. But that's just for that one spot and like facing away from what would be the field or whatever, right?
Yeah. It's a little weird with everything going on here.
There's a lot of craziness going on in Lake Titicaca, y'all.
Not wrong. All right. So I'm going to bring up this one real quick. So this one gets a little weird. There is a random archway with a door that doesn't actually go anywhere, just carved into this random cliff face. Hayumarca is a majestic yet rugged mountain range along the shores of Lake Titicaca. Accidentally discovered in 1996, a gigantic doorway hides within the deep crevices of the stunning red rocks. Among the locals, this virtually unknown Inca site is referred to as Amaru Maru. The original name all but lost in history, which is why you will find many people actually calling this Aramu Maru. God, I can't speak today. Quite confusing if you ask me. Yeah, okay. Don't need your 2 cents on that. Don't need your 2 cents. It's a hike up there, to say the least. And this is pretty much what you see when you get there. But this is the doorway. It's roughly 7 meters high and about that wide. Giant funnels frame the doorway to each site, while the actual door is large enough to fit an average-sized human. A small circular recess is visible about the height of your belly button, while others seem to be made to fit your hands. So it's got some weirdness in that human door frame right there. And so you can kind of see what they're talking about there. Are you ready to go off the rails with this one?
Sure.
All right. We'll find out if this stream can stay alive or not. Let's catch up on chat before we watch the video. All right.
That thing's weird.
Let's see.
A lot of Egyptian hate in the chat.
I mean, if it's Egyptian hate, I can't complain. All right.
40 years is a long time.
Not long enough. Grand Canyon has many hidden mysteries from Mistress Meg. Covered up by the Smithsonian and the government. We did that. Carlbot is spurging.
Yeah, I was getting a bunch of notifications.
I'll deal with it after the show.
That's why I didn't bring it up.
Words. What are they good for? Sorry, the song by War is stuck in my head.
Nice.
Nandor coming in to finish the song. Oh, nice. Someone made Lake Titicaca Wonder in Civ 5 Workshop on Steam. Nerd. I haven't played Civ since 3. Barbara, I prefer alpacas.
They are a lot cuter. This is Valhalla wants alpacas. Bad. Real bad.
Let's see. XCOM doing ChatGPT stuff. It's free dive. XCOM coming in, or the local cattle auction spot.
I saw that. That's good.
Blandrous religious gathering. Let's see. Nandor people fought for entertainment.
Llamas are
See that
big.
now.
Llamas are big, y'all.
I kind of want to see that now.
Also, that's not realistic. They were valuable. They were like the only thing they had in South America as far as beasts of burden. That was the only. They would have been very, very valuable.
Oh, no. Can we do a show where you fight a llama?
I mean, you got to buy the llama.
Okay. You think that's going to stop me?
They're big. Llamas are real big. They're like 400 or 500 pounds at least, I think.
Oh, yeah. They're not small at all.
They might be bigger than that.
Let's see. Peru is on my bucket list. Nazca lines are cool. Machu Picchu from Nandor. Yeah.
We're going to get into most of that stuff. Nazca lines are definitely on the list.
XCOM coming in hot. We should trust academia. This is natural occurring lava rocks. The end. Let's see.
Natural formations.
Yeah, natural. Nandor, blood needs to flow somewhere. That's a big channel. That'd be a lot of blood. Belandra is saying the same thing. Sacrifice of blood draining. XCOM is just a meat factory. The humankind.
Yikes.
Let's see. Richard coming in was built by ancient concreticians. Have all the answers, I tell you. I don't think anybody has the answers.
No, none of us do.
Let's see. Yeah, Belandris coming in. There are plenty of harder rocks that could chisel that material around. Yeah, I have zero issues with the chisel on this site at all.
No, it wouldn't be all that difficult.
Richard, as far as a Western warfare, it was common for families and more to have picnics and whatnot and watch from the sidelines. Yeah, even ancient civilizations, the baggage trains, they'd have families, children. I won't go too far into that, but there are many accounts of a side losing a battle so bad that the entire families are wiped out.
I know that
in the battle.
I know that like the Aztecs had some games that were like similar to like soccer or basketball even.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about further south, but I know that they used to have like big organized games and such.
Let's see. Richard says, live in Colorado, so this is kind of meh for me. Carving into red rock seemed a hell of a lot more impressive. Let's see.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah. Nandor coming in with some religious subcontext here. I think it's odd that the legend says the god of the sun cried for 40 days and 40 nights, creating Lake Titicaca. 40 days and 40 nights of rain occurs in a lot of cultures. Yeah. I think I might end up doing a 3-part episode on biblical Judaic stuff. I don't know if you've seen how big that
No, I haven't looked
that
at
topic's gotten.
Getting a little out of control.
Yeah.
That's reference material.
Oh, bye, Jess.
We appreciate you, babes.
Looks like they're starting to talk about the balloons.
Apparently, they popped another one.
Yeah. We're going to avoid that subject for right now. I
Yeah.
don't want to FBI open the door. Here we go. Let's see if this works. I left that in there just for you.
800 miles southeast
Appreciate it.
of Peru, near the shores of Lake Titicaca, is a site that has mystified visitors from around the world. Shamans still come to perform rituals and offer prayers at the rock wall on this high plateau, as they have done for generation after generation.
So, I think we know where I got this from, but it was interesting, and it gives it a 180 spin.
It is known as Puerta de Hayumarca, or Gate of the Gods.
That's not what you called it.
It's quite baffling.
No, the article I pulled up had a little bit different take, but there's a lot of we'll say self-interjection on what they wanted to call it.
Here is this giant doorway carved into solid rock. And it appears to be a gateway, but it doesn't.
It's literally in the middle of nowhere at 14,000 feet. Yet that rock, as clear as you can see, has a gigantic rectangle carved out of it, cut.
That guy's awesome.
He is awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, this, like, I'm sure they'll show a person for scale, but this thing is massive for just a random door that goes nowhere and does nothing.
Out of it. And in the center of that rectangle at the bottom, there is something that looks like a door.
The Peruvian natives actually referred to this as the Gate of the Gods. But why would you make a doorway to basically rocks that didn't let you go anywhere? There has to be some way to get through that doorway.
According to Inca legend, the first priest king.
So, yeah, kind of what I've already said a couple times. It's a doorway that goes nowhere. And with as much crazy different architecture and how short they're saying the timeline is for this area, I have zero doubts that something else happened, and it's probably, I would say myself, 3,000 to 5,000 years old for most of it.
Maru Muru is said to have traveled through this portal using a special object to activate the doorway, turning this solid rock into what's known as a stargate.
According to
A Stargate?
I mean, Val, offer me something else.
I got nothing else, man. It could be.
And I know it was on the other pictures. This thing isn't incredibly thick. It's like the rocks jut straight up. So it's not like they were carving it out to get through because they could just walk around it. It wasn't going. No way it was going to be used for a structure. Like, it is literally just there in that rock face for no other reason than to exist.
Some kind of ceremonial decoration. I don't know.
legend, this Stargate was activated by the help of a golden disc. And this golden disc fell from the sky.
The story goes that the first priest king of the Incas took a golden disc up to this Gate of the Gods, stuck it in a special recessed area, and this interdimensional door.
Yeah, so perfect size for a person. And don't forget, it has the two handles and then that groove right in the middle, right where his stomach would be. It's weird, man.
It is a weird one.
Opened up, and he passed through it, never to be seen again. The shaman that were there, that watched it, that witnessed the whole thing and reported on it, basically told that was exactly what happened.
Archaeologists who have examined the Gate of the Gods have discovered a small circular depression in the center of the doorway. Some people have speculated that this depression was perhaps where the golden disc was placed.
It really is out of the movies. This device is...
So it's just, it gets so weird.
That's
Like, it goes 0 to 100 like real quick.
that's pretty weird.
And the more you ask, the weirder it gets. And like, I feel like we need to do a series of this whole mountain range with all the craziness that goes on it.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot.
said to have been made of gold and of various other precious objects. And whoever had it could come near the site and somehow be able to operate it. And then there would either be contact with the gods or the gods would come to them.
And we're all led to believe, oh, it's all coincidence, it's all just fantasy. Rubbish. Something happened, and in the case of the Stargate, it is possible that this sun disk had some type of an extraterrestrial connection. And
That's kind of where I'm out of that one. It's weird.
Weird one.
That's the
It's a
same
weird
thing I
one.
said last week. There's always some moron that leaves a bag somewhere.
Mighty showed up. Mighty's here. Hello, Mighty. Aussie's in chat. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Aussie.
Oh,
Aussie.
that one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No, and just I hear, where is it? Richard, though I'd still bet on that being a support structure for something that isn't here anymore. If there were grooves or something that held up timbers or something like that, I could definitely see that. But it's a door frame carved out with a human-sized slot in it. It's weird.
It is super weird.
I'm just, with the way this area is all set up, there's just so much weird stuff in there. It's hard to say, and it's any one thing.
Well, plus due to time, like we have no idea.
But yeah, I mean, it's not level.
No. It's a weird spot to put a giant fake door.
Yeah, and if it was a support, if it was like outlines holding up timbers or something, like you'd expect there to be some sort of foundation stone somewhere. That's not there. It's just random. And these outcrops. It's a weird thing. Thought you froze there for a second. Your head's just broken right now.
Yeah, I can't think of any. Like, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody carve that there?
Yeah, it makes literally zero sense.
None.
Like if there was something close by, or there were a couple structures, or there was a foundation, like I'd be like 100%. Oh yeah, no, like they just use this to prop up structures, but it's not there.
It's a very bizarre carving.
Yeah,
Maybe they weren't finished. Maybe they started carving and
I
gave
think
up.
you'd start with a foundation first, like that. Like it's a little bit better of how it's carved out. I'm just gonna assume that's all from birds, but
Probably.
like it doesn't make sense. right? Because if you look at the top, it's got it like they're carving a roof in, but it's not that thick of a rock. You're not putting anything inside. It would literally be a passageway. But let's see if I can find the picture of it again. It's literally an outcrop. There's no reason to do it. You can literally walk around.
It's very strange.
For sure. Yeah, the rest of this they kind of go into it's aliens and it's a Stargate, so we'll skip that. I only believe the alien stuff so much.
The Stargate thing's my favorite theory so far.
I mean, if somebody gets it working, I'm all into travel.
Yikes. That'd be a scary first trip.
Yeah, just give me a P90, give me some tactical clothes. All right.
And then it opens at the bottom of the ocean on a different planet.
Well, somebody else has to go first, obviously. All right. Let's see what chat's saying about this one. Richard says reminds me of Crucible. Let's see. If only we could turn it back on and throw certain annoying blue turds through it. I'm with Aussie.
I'm with Aussie.
Let's see, Richard. Forget there were people in the area playing games where the victor ate the loser. Yeah. I mean, I haven't partaken of the sweet pork.
Long pork?
Sweet, long, both.
That's what somebody Richard up there said that kind of reminded him of the Egyptians, and that was what I was thinking, like a relief carving maybe, but it didn't go far. They gave up on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was that far south or not. So that red marker is Lake Titicaca. So it's a little ways down from everything. So it's not close. But I mean, we're still technically digging up the Aztec and Mayan roads. We don't know how big those or how long those actually go.
We don't know much about ancient South American cultures.
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with the utter devastation they caused to each other, and then everybody else finding out they had gold.
Yeah, those damn Europeans.
Look, this is not good logic stream. We're not getting into the Great Beaver debate. It's not happening. Let's see. Nandor, lots of gold there, attracted the aliens. They made hybrids to mine the gold. What's so hard to believe?
Makes perfect sense.
I mean,
I buy every word of that.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Not saying it was aliens, but it wasn't from people of Earth. I spilled water all over myself.
Excomer, at least the Sumerians said humans were made from blood and not mud. Some old biblical lore stuff. Richard coming in. One problem with my bet is there ought to be other structures like it. Yeah, I agree. There should be more. Like that one being in the spot it is. Like it's not level. There's no foundations. There's nothing else like it. Like even the door frames that are similar are smaller, like significantly smaller, and built like a building there.
Right.
So this one just makes zero sense.
It doesn't fit in with anything.
Let's see.
Man bun. Ancient speakeasy. No one can remember the password. That's pretty funny, actually. That's good.
Look, if somebody finds a password and that door opens, I'm just gonna say it was aliens at that point.
Yeah, if that actually turns into a door someday, yeah. Wholeheartedly believe that it was the alien theory. We do weird things. Yes, we do.
Piezoelectric something sparks something calls something mighty meat. I think GPT broke on Comer.
Possibly.
Let's see, Rich coming in. That's too rounded to wedge it. Yeah. You can make grooves like that and wedge materials in a secure fashion. Yeah, but again, like
it seems like a weird place and size and
yeah, it doesn't fit.
no.
Let's see. Doorway for the Middle Earth people. They don't need to go around. They need to go down. Should we do the center of the Earth one day?
I mean, I don't know much about it, but you're talking like all the crazy stuff?
Yeah, I want to bring Mighty on for that one. Just listen to him rage about it.
He would not be thrilled. I don't think for that one.
Mighty, we're gonna do a center of the Earth stream. You're invited.
Impish is here finally. Thanks for showing up.
Oh, finally, an hour
Appreciate
and
it.
40 minutes in. Thanks for showing up, Impish.
We appreciate you, doll.
Let's see. D what? I like the vegetable theory. Follow the veggies. Richard, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the Aztec games. Yeah, I don't remember if it was the Aztecs or the Mayas that did the murder basketball soccer thing.
I think that was the Aztecs. But I also don't know that I buy it necessarily. Maybe. Seems like it'd be I don't know. I find it hard to believe that anybody would be willing to sacrifice that level.
Temples of Skulls. Need I say more?
I'm just saying. It seems unlikely to me that 11 dudes are going to face off against 11 other dudes. And if you lose, you get killed. That seems weird.
Need I introduce all of human history?
In the case of like the gladiators, for example, you took your life into your own hands. It was you against whatever was out there. This is a team game where you have to depend on 10 other morons to save your life. It just seems strange.
Can I introduce you to warfare? Can I introduce you to the drunk guy at a bar?
Well, that's the thing. Why wouldn't you just go to war? Like, it seems strange.
I mean, everything seems strange once you dig into it, if we're being honest about that one. All right, let's see. Impish says she missed it. Start over.
You're just
start over from the beginning. It's cool.
You're just gonna have to be on the replay crew, Impish.
Let's see. Mississippi has Isis in his name. The Egyptian god, I'm assuming.
Yep. Not that other one.
Let's see. Great novels on it. Great fantasy for what it's worth. I think that's Center of the Earth. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff, and there's a lot of actual fiction that was written as fiction and not somebody's trip. Barbara says murder ball sounds fun. Impish says, see you bring the boys, Blandress and Mighty. Yeah, except they were here before you.
Right?
You sit on a throne of lies.
Her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Let's see. Richard, plus it was normal in some Christian sects to consume parts of your loved ones. Yeah, that was more French stuff for the most part. But
there's a I'll save that for another day. But there's a group of people in India, like an ethnic minority in India, that still practices cannibalism.
Yeah, I got a work story I'll have to tell you after we end the stream here.
Fair.
Let's see. Impish, I make war and love, mostly war. I don't think you're capable of war. Let's see.
Be a lover, not a fighter, y'all.
Richard, my Japanese line's 8 people. My Cherokee line's 8 people. Would go on, but you get the point. Yeah, no, it's not abnormal. It's become abnormal.
Oh, it's definitely taboo now.
Yeah. I mean, thank God for that one.
Yeah.
Could you imagine getting in a bar fight and somebody just starts taking bites out of your leg?
Don't fight people on bath salts, y'all. Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
Let's see. Yes, Impish. Rewatch crew. Thank you. Let's see. Common Malaysia to this day as much as Africa? I'm trying to decipher that one. Common Malaysia as it is in Africa, maybe?
As well as much of Africa.
Yeah.
I don't know much about in Africa. I know that Papua New Guinea had some, like in this lifetime, they were practicing cannibalism, like the old people. Some of them. Yeah.
But Richard's saying it's too far for YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's not great for stuff. I'm not a fan of the YouTubes, which is why we have a Rumble. So when we get into topics like this, we can end the YouTube stream and go to Rumble and say whatever the hell we want.
And please, if you haven't yet, go subscribe to Rumble, y'all. We need to get a few more people before we can live stream over there. So if you can go give us a follow, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I do want to do some Rumble exclusive stuff. I want to build up the Rumble channel. We do have. I'm working on a specific locals, so you guys can sub. We can do mini series, or you can stream that. Do smaller shows as well. That's in the works. So we're getting there. It's slow, and this is only episode 2.
We're building, y'all. We're building. Hopefully, anyway.
Let's see. Val, Impish says you've seen her get nasty.
Oh, you know it. She's got a couple of hot button topics that she doesn't like when you talk about, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I've noticed. And then Belanderson there dropping truth bombs, saying Impish was just taking a nap. Yeah, she's sleeping on the channel. That's all.
It's fine. Impish, you weren't subbed? Shame on you. Thanks for doing it now. I appreciate you.
Oh, he's Mighty's mad. I missed his chat.
I think somebody just unsubbed on our Rumble. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Why am I getting hate from the meatwad?
It was over the center of the earth comments.
I'm giving him shit.
Oh yeah. He was not thrilled.
Richard has a cookbook on preparing humans from Malaysia.
I'm not sure if that's something you should tell people, buddy. You just keep that to yourself, and
I want to see it.
I do too.
I want to see it.
Take pictures and post it in Discord.
Yeah, I'm putting that link there again because I want to see it.
Picture it didn't happen. That's what I.
Yeah, right. Yep, it was Impish on sub from us.
I see how it is, Impish. I see how it is. Belandris resub. It probably was Belandris. He does that all the time to Hayden. That's
But
funny.
yeah, that's all I had for the show today.
Lake Titicaca's got some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, nobody's really dug into it to figure out what's going on. It's so sporadic and crazy out there.
Impish, our Discord's pretty mellow. It's pretty on point. Yeah.
The rules are. I gotta figure out how to turn Carlbot off.
Yeah, Carlbot's doing things, man.
Carl's spurging out. Let's see.
Audra Smith, hi, welcome. Oh, I'm glad you got your power back on. Yeah, we're just finishing up, but it was a pretty interesting episode. Lake Titicaca's got some wild stuff going on.
Yeah, I want to like get 1,000 people out there and just start digging.
Something. Thanks, Mighty. Appreciate you, buddy. Oh. Next week, do we know what topic we're doing yet? Not yet.
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking we might do a cryptid one.
Okay.
I want to go something way out there.
Okay. Oh, you did ask that poll question at one point, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm down.
So, yeah, if I know Discord's being a little weird and Carlbot's spurging out, but if you do join, throw some stuff in there. We'll take a look at anything. We'll get to stuff eventually.
Should we throw up another Discord link? How long ago was that?
A minute or two, I think.
Oh, was it fairly recently? Oh, you did. Okay, you're right. My bad. Discord link's up there. We are not, Audra. We don't have enough people to stream over on Rumble yet. So if you're not subbed on Rumble, please go do it. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you.
We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the first one, and if you like what we're doing, every Saturday, hopefully, or most Saturdays anyway. Last week was my fault. The goats were born.
You and your damn goats.
Me and my damn goats.
Well, guys, I'll post something in the Discord. I'll try and get this set up sooner so we know what we're doing earlier in the week, so you guys can tune in.
And do all the things. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Make us famous, y'all. Make us famous.